We all have a war chest, something that we can just reach into and pull out an adventure when we need, when we don't have much prepped. Something that's really easy to run and a lot of fun that you can just pick up and run almost on the fly. This adventure today is one that you'll be adding to yours. It is called the Hounds of Hendenburg, and it's by Liam Porrico Quillinan. And it's just a great little adventure. It has been written for Cairn, so it's super easy to translate regardless of what you're running. And yeah, it starts off well. So it's terror roams the dark brambled paths of the Kryptwood. A pack of dark giant spectral hounds rule the night, savaging those foolish enough to brave the forests. The villagers of Hendenburg cower in the shadows of the ancient boughs as each morning heralds a newly savaged corpse. It's a nice little start, and I really do like this layout for kind of like the background of what happens. You know, something that happened a long time ago, something that happened recently, something that's just happened. And it lets you wrap up an entire story in a really small amount of space. So 1,000 years ago, there was this tyrant. He had these hounds that were fed on human flesh. He hunted the locals. Dude died. He was buried. Everything was fine. A month ago, Sly George, who is obviously a great name for a highwayman, uncovered the tomb, unlocked the spirits, ran off. 2 weeks ago, some villagers were found ripped apart, and a week ago, there was a local poacher called Oliver, went out to try and deal with them with an expedition. Three of his party died, and that's where you are. So you're just straight into the action in one tiny little section. There's 3 hooks. Hooks are okay. Hooks are good. There's this one I really like. As a child, one of the party received occasional letters from their Uncle Alfwin, an eccentric bachelor and hunter from Hendenburg. Essentially, mad Uncle Alfwin Bill was killed by the hounds, and he's left one of them a small hunting lodge. But again, this thing actually works that not only could you just drop it in from rumours, people could be travelling through a forest and you could just drop the village in there without any warning, and players would, if they went in there, would actually jump into this. Or I think they would generally jump into this. So yeah, like even almost as a random encounter within a forest, it would work. So the thing that makes this adventure great is the relationships. There's loads of them, and they're all interwoven, and it makes it feel really, really alive. So there's these crones that live there. Crones being crones are not particularly nice. Now, recently, the crones had a deal with Sly George for him to marry, I think it was Weeping Winifred. So, so he's basically meant to marry them and then backed off. So they gave him a cloak, and they obviously want him dead, and that's the first of the relationships which is gone astray. Another thing I really like is there's several ways of actually defeating these hounds. So it's not a linear adventure or a straight adventure. So there's a pastor there who's been disgraced. They can deal with him, but they're going to have to overcome some stuff to get that done. There's the hags. They can go through that, but going through hags is always going to be an issue. Or there's a devil's bargain, but obviously your players can come up with other stuff themselves. I really do like the art. The rumour tables are good. They're not amazing, but amazing rumours are really, really hard to do and very, very rare. These are better than most rumour tables that you see out there in adventures. Again, when we look at the people of Hendenburg, you have the Lord and Lady Hendenburg. Basically, the Lord of Hendenburg is mad as a goat, and he keeps demanding to be taken out sledding. His young wife believes the ghostly hounds are merely peasant superstition, or potentially the work of a particularly vindictive badger. That's awesome. You have Oliver the poacher. He was the one who led a party out there, but all three they killed 3 dogs, but then the dogs disappeared, which gives the players an idea of what they're dealing with. And you have like Pastor Noonan. The pastor is disgraced. He's been defrocked. He hates the villagers, but he's one of the people who's got a way of dealing with it. So he knows how to defeat the hounds. So that's going to take work for the players if they're going to get him involved. You've got Martin Brock the miller. He might ask the party to recover the body of his wife because his wife went missing in the woods. His wife is actually the person with Sly George. So again, more relationships interwoven, which is really, really cool. Here's the thing that I would say. The one thing that would make this adventure better, and it would make most adventures better, especially when there's relationships involved, would be a relationship map, just almost like a flowchart of, Martin here, his wife over here, the link between them, her link to Sly George, that sort of stuff, because there's so many interlinks here, would make it so easy to look at a glance and know exactly what's going on. So we have Gregory the blacksmith. This is another nice little kind of relationship. Gregory was in love with Widow Windstaple, who runs the inn. They loved each other. It was kind of cool, but it was it was stuff that wasn't actually out in the open. He got a love potion, which is a dodgy move anyway. But the crones gave him a potion of love. She now hates him, and kind of like wants him dealt with. So you've got this kind of again, more relationships between them, and also with the crones involved as well. And that's what I really love about this. It's just a lovely little adventure with everything interlinked. Nice little hex map. Very simple hex map with everything that you need in there. The Kryptwood is an ancient and hungry. Always seeking to devour the works of man and return it to his primal state. As you go through it, they're kind of like white bricks of unknown antiquity, choked with ivy and brittle with age. I love that idea of it's just reaching out, trying to grab things back to it. It's just a cool little adventure. The encounters are good. They're not amazing, but they're good. And again, like I've covered recently, some adventures where they've got amazing encounter tables. Most adventures have terrible encounter tables. This is way better than 90% of the stuff out there. What else have we got? Valerie Brockle. Again, this is the miller's wife. Starting to realise that life as an outlaw is not as romantic as she thought it would be. The Cloak of Many Faces. This is another thing I like. It's a lovely little magic item. So a motley patchwork cloak that when the wearer pulls over their head, they can randomly acquire a new distinctive face. It's only got 10 charges, and then it says to recharge it when it comes colourless. They need to re-dye it. I actually think that could be a little bit more interesting. I love rechargeable magic items that you have to go on a quest or something to do. I think you could very easily do that. That you need a certain type of dye from a certain type of place, which would be cool. What else have we got here? Yeah, it's got a dungeon. It's a small dungeon for actually dealing with the beasts. I really like it. For a small dungeon, it's got 2 loops, which is really cool. Or a few loops. You can go this way, you can go this way, you can go all the way around. Like that. For a small dungeon, you don't often get that. So again, everything I'm saying about this is just a really good little adventure. The layout for the dungeon is nice as well. It's nice and easy to run. So when you look at here, you walk through and there's murals, decaying mules covering the wall, and a mangled corpse of a highwayman. Anything that's bolded, you can kind of look down and get into more detail. It's a really nice breakdown, as we've covered beforehand. You don't have to think about it. You can just up and run, which is what you want when you get an adventure. It's just really, really cool. And this is a nice touch as well. What happens afterwards, after the adventure? If the party does nothing, if the pastor Noonan, I don't know what's going on there. If the pastor Noonan binds the hounds, and I like the fact that it's actually given a little bit of thought of what happens later. So yeah, overall, this thing is pay what you want and drive through RPG. Give Bipar a couple of quid, because you want people like this writing more adventures. There are that many bad adventures out there. Sorry, it's Liam. Parik's in my head. But yeah, it's worth a couple of quid easily. Great little adventure, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.